I'd like to call the meeting for the Planning Commission for March 8, 2023. Ruth, could we have a roll call, please?
Chairman Zarguni.
Present.
Vice Chairman Miller. Here. Commissioner York.
Here.
Commissioner Mandel is absent. Commissioner Salazar Garza.
Here.
Commissioner Munoz.
Here.
Commissioner Matahe.
Here.
Commissioner Lerma.
Here.
Commissioner Hedrick.
Here.
We have a quorum to conduct the meeting.
Thank you. Moving on to the general public comment. At this time, if anyone would like to speak regarding any agenda item, please come forward. Keep in mind you have 3 minutes to speak if you choose to. Please state your name and address for the record.
Shireen Del Sus, 6030 Tapestry. And I have a video, but before we start, I just want to mention, when you guys make plans for the streets and such, please consider that 12% of Americans don't have access to cars, so don't discredit the fact that people walk or ride their bikes. So please play video. I'm here to advocate for protected bike paths. This is a protected bike path. This is a protected bike path. So you'll see they follow the Federal Highway Administration, the FHA, design guides. And these design guides are really easy to understand. I'm not an urban planner. I am not a civil engineer. I can easily read this because there are plenty of pictures and clear measurements. Sadly, when Corpus Christi wants to make a bike path, they don't follow these design guides. They go ahead and just decide for themselves how they want to do this. What you'll see is they just simply make a wide sidewalk and call it a day. Wide sidewalks are not protected bike paths. They're just wide sidewalks. They're designed for legs. You don't have concrete gaps like this on roads for wheels. But for some reason, they decided that this was good enough and call it a day. Wide sidewalks are not feasible for 17-mile-per-hour commutes with bikes. This is not a protected bike path. Paint on the road isn't going to protect cyclists because cars are always swerving onto the bike path. Today I'm going to focus on health. We need an environment conducive to healthy activity. Habit experts, academics concluded that our environment is crucial to forming good habits. You want to exercise? For example, you would set out your exercise clothes the night before, you put them out, so in the morning you see it and you're motivated to go out. Even a small gesture like plate size, for example. Studies show that with just a smaller plate, you eat 22% less food. This logic very well applies to urban planning. The decisions the city planners make set the tone for the culture in the city. Does this look like a place where exercising is encouraged? I understand by the water is pretty cool, but it has to be applicable to the whole city. If we have an inviting environment for exercise, could you imagine just how many more people exercise? There's actually a number on this. Adding protected bike paths increased ridership from 21% to 171%, and that's according to NACTO, the National Association of City Transportation Officials. Unfortunately, the decisions the city makes still shows that they don't understand this. Even as recent as a few weeks ago, they decided not to have sidewalks or bike paths by the HEB on Roberts. And that's now adding an extra barrier to food. This is called food insecurity. I don't understand why the priority should be only to cars. When you have plans for transportation, everyone should be equal. Everyone. So please be considerate on these decisions that make an impact on people's lives. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak regarding general public comment? None. I will close it. I'm moving on to the approval of the absences. None. Approval of the minutes. Commissioners, if you make a motion, please state your name for the record so staff can record who made the motion, please. So, approval of the minutes for the Planning Commission on February 22nd, 2023.
Michael York, make a motion, we approve the minutes.
Michael Miller, second.
We have a motion and second. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving on to the consent public hearing. Discussion items for item A, B, and C.
Good afternoon,
For the
Commissioners.
record, Commissioner Miller will be abstaining from item number B3, zoning. So if you would want to read everything else, do it in 2 sections. So let's get the first part.
Okay. Good evening, Commissioners. Mark Orozco, Planner 3 with Development Services. As stated, I'll be reading consent items A and C. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Starting with item A, we have plats. Number 2, this is a plat of Village on the Green, Unit 1, Block 1, Lot 1AR. It's a replat of 1.74 acres. The plat has met the UDC design standards and Texas Local Government Code, and TRC recommends approval. We're going to move on to item C, which is a plat variance. And the plat was it was a prelim plat that was previously approved on February the 22nd. The plat variance is for, or waiver is for Half Street construction. The plat is London Island Block 1, lots 1 through 10, and Block 2, Lot 1. Staff is recommending approval of the Half Street construction on this item. At this time, staff can answer any questions pertaining to these.
Thank you. Commissioners, any question for staff? None. At this time, I'd like to open the public hearing regarding item A and C. Does anyone would like to speak regarding any of these items? None. I will close the public hearing and entertain further comments or motion.
This is Michael Miller. I move that we approve items 2 and 4 as presented by staff.
Michael York, I'll second.
We have a motion and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, moving on to item B, Commissioner Miller will be abstaining from this item.
Item B, zoning. This is a rezoning of a property located at or near 1802 Nueces Bay Boulevard. The zoning is for Citgo Refining and Chemicals Company, LP. The zoning is from the RS6, Single Family 6 District to the ON Neighborhood Office District. Staff is recommending approval on this item.
Thank you. Any question for staff? None. At this time, I will open the public hearing regarding item number B, zoning, if anyone would like to speak regarding this item. None. I will close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
Michael York, I move we approve item 3 as presented.
Commissioner Garza, I second.
We have a motion and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Moving on to briefing for the ethics presentation.
Buck Bryce, Senior Assistant City Attorney. I'll try to get through this quick as possible, so we'll get you out of here. Okay. So the laws and rules applicable to the Planning Commission include the Code of Ethics, which is established by Chapter 2, Article 5 of the Corpus Christi Code, City Charter, Article 5, the Unified Development Code, Section 2.3, Chapters 171, 211, 212 of the Texas Local Government Code. And in addition to those specific ones, the Open Meetings Act is applicable, and that's found in Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code, and the Public Information Act is found under Chapter 552 of the Texas Government Code. So as far as the city code of ethics, you're not to use your office for private advancement or gain special privileges or exemptions for yourself or others. You're not to grant any special consideration to any group that is not generally available to the general public. You're not to use city resources for purposes unrelated to the interests of the city, except as are available to the public, i.e., you can get water service like everybody else gets water services. So those were just the general codes of ethics. We have specific ones regarding gifts. You're not to accept or solicit any gift offered with the intent to influence or reward official conduct. We have some exceptions to the gift, restricted gifts, i.e. special occasions, weddings, holidays, anniversaries, graduations, just kind of your normal gifts. Reimbursement for travel, if it's disclosed on a travel report. Awards for service or achievements, loan from lending institutions, regular business, or a scholarship award on terms applied to other applicants. Additional exceptions include solicitation for charity or civic causes, admission to events in connection with your position, gifts accepted for the city of Corpus Christi, admission to widely attended event in official capacity as a city representative or as in a ceremonial role, unsolicited admission to charity event by a sponsor, and training related to official duties. Then we have ethical standard conflicts. City officials may apply for services or discuss personal services from city as long as they notify the city secretary, city manager in writing of conflict in personal capacity. You're not to engage in outside activities or employment that impair your independent judgment in performing duties or reflect discredit upon the city. You're not to represent defendants in municipal court if any of you are attorneys. You're not to receive fees or official services from entities other than the city, except as authorized by city council or provided by law. Additional conflicts is if the planning commission or city council is considering a contract with the entity with which you have an interest. You're to make a written disclosure to city secretary, city manager, abstain from voting or the decision-making process, and not to participate in any discussion of the matter with the committee, city council, city manager, or city employees. The ethics also prohibits violations of law. You're not to knowingly act or refuse to act to thwart execution of federal, state, or local laws or regulations. Do not engage in any felony crime, misdemeanor of moral turpitude, or other conduct that reflects discredit on the city. And additionally, to avoid conflicts of interest, you shall not take any action or fail to take any action likely to affect the economic interest of yourself or your outside client or your employer or your household or a family member within the first and second degree of contiguity or infinity. And I also included in your packets this handy little chart that reflects both. And keep in mind that that's just the second degree is where you're to avoid benefiting economic interests. Recusals and disclosures. City officials with conflicts of interest must recuse him or herself from the time that the conflict is or should have been recognized. He or she shall immediately refrain from further participation in the matter, including discussions with any persons likely to consider the matter, and promptly file with the city secretary the appropriate form for disclosing the nature and extent of the prohibited conduct. And a member of the board shall promptly disclose the conflict to other members of the board and shall not be present during the board's discussion or voting on the matter. Okay, so what are the consequences if you don't follow the city's code of ethics? If the Ethics Commission determines violation occurred, it may recommend reprimand, suspension, removal, or other corrective actions to the city council. And then at that time, city council will consider recommendations of the Ethics Commission, but it'll be at the discretion of the city council what action they take. So even more severe as far as conflict of interest, Texas Local Government Code, Chapter 177, prohibits officials benefiting when there's a substantial interest, and the state law specifically defines substantial interest as owning 10% or more of a business entity, owning more than $15,000 of value in the business entity, receiving more than 10% of one's income from the business entity, owning more than 2,500 of parcel realty, or first degree relative of person with substantial interest. And first degree means spouse, father, father-in-law, mother, mother-in-law, son, son-in-law, daughter, daughter-in-law. And again, you can reference that chart. And there's the chart. So violation of state law, if you knowingly violate, it's a Class A misdemeanor, which is punishable by a fine not to exceed $4,000, confinement in jail for a term not to exceed 1 year, or both fine and confinement. That concludes my presentation. Questions?
Thank you, sir. Any question for Mr. Burke?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your presentation. Okay, moving on to director's report.
I'd like to welcome our two new planning commissioners, Billy Lerma and Justin Hedrick. And they did attend the new planning commissioners orientation this week. And so, again, I'd like to welcome them. That's my report.
Perfect, thank you. Any future agenda items? None, we are adjourned. Thank you all.